When I was a small boy, I learned something that must have had a very profound effect on me, because I can remember it vividly all these years later. I was about 6 years old, and I was with a group of my mates who were all about 5 or 6 years old as well. We were standing round on the back lawn behind Stephen Tate's house, listening in amazement to a man named Antonio regaling us with tales of the adventures that had befallen him in the previous couple of years. And one of the things he explained to us was how to cook a hedgehog. Now, I'll just give you some context here. Antonio was a refugee from some conflict in Eastern Europe, which we didn't understand because we were only 6 years old and we didn't understand politics. But Antonio and his wife and children had had to flee their home and leave everything that they owned behind them. They'd had to flee their country and travel across Europe looking for a safe haven, which ended up being in a small town that was about as far away from Eastern Europe as you could possibly get. I would imagine that on their travels they had some pretty tough times, and that they would have been foraging for food, and that a hedgehog could have made a pretty good meal for the whole family. So here he was, telling us how to cook a hedgehog, and you've got this group of little kids standing there absolutely dumbstruck, having never imagined that anybody would ever want to eat a hedgehog. But he explained it to us, and I reckon it's pretty cool. I hope you never need to eat a hedgehog, but if you do, this is how you cook it. You get a whole lot of mud and you cake it around the hedgehog so it's like a big ball, and then you put it in the fire, and the mud bakes like a hard shell around the hedgehog, and when it's cooked you break it open and split it apart, and it pulls all the spines and the skin away from it and just leaves the meat inside. I reckon that's pretty cool. And I'm really pleased that in the part of my brain that's reserved for survival techniques, that's still in there. If I ever need to eat a hedgehog, or if I ever just have an urge to find out what one tastes like, I know how to do it. Thank you, Antonio. There's a weird phenomenon that's been following me around all my life, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Wherever I live, whatever house I happen to be in at the time, I frequently get woken in the middle of the night to strange noises outside my bedroom window. There's a muffled grunting sound, and the rustling of leaves and branches, and something that goes, ooh, ooh, eh, ooh, ah. It's hedgehogs mating. I don't know if I'm some kind of hedgehog magnet that makes them a bit frisky, but when they decide to do the wild thing, when they decide they need to get a room, they pick my room. I'm over it.